everybody, welcome back. I'm going to try and film a barn vlog, and I think I'm gonna jump 10 and Ranita today. I'm going to practice second one on Zeke, hopefully, and then I've got Ranita, which you guys haven't met yet unless you follow me on Instagram. One of my best friends, her horse is with me, or has been with me. It'll be a month in the middle of August, so she dropped her off I think July 15th. So I have been working on the basics with her. I really haven't done much other than just trying to get her quicker off the leg, trying to get her up and down through the walk and the halt transitions without bracing against my hands, just trying to loosen her up a little bit. I really haven't done too much because I think she needs to have her teeth done, or she's scheduled to have them done after she like a week or two after she goes back, when the vet's coming out to their barn. So I haven't really wanted to do much because I suspect her teeth might be bothering her. So doing what I can with what we got, but she's coming along really, really great. She hasn't had any kind of like really professional training or anything like that. So I'm gonna do my best with what I can. She's very similar to 10 with the attitude and her mannerism. Yeah, so I've got lots of horses to ride today. I sold my trailer yesterday. It was kind of sad because that was my first trailer. I bought it shortly after I bought 10, but I bought it pretty close after, like within a year after I bought 10. So it was very kind of emotional. Like, you know, when you have your first trailer, it's like very emotional, you know, getting rid of it. I mean, it was a cute little 2-horse bumper pull. It didn't have a tack room. Like, it was the cutest trailer ever. But obviously when I got this truck, I had bought this truck with the intentions of hauling a lot larger trailer. So I knew when I bought this truck which trailer I was going to get, because I am buying the barn owner's other trailer, so she didn't need like a living quarter. She didn't need anything that massive, so she ended up getting a 4-star 2+1 with a tack room, which is actually longer than the trailer I'm purchasing from her, but it's all aluminum, so it's like significantly lighter. The trailer that I am buying from her is a Merhow. I don't know what year it is, but it's a Merhow. It's living quarters, and it's a 3-horse slant, and it's got the tack room on the back. But I like, even going through and like looking like at the trailer market, there's nothing. I mean, and everything's so significantly like overpriced. I mean, the truck market, the trailer market, the housing market, I think everything is like significantly overpriced. I feel like everything in the world is at like a blown up price right now, which is crazy. So there's some things still that need to be done. I basically just gave her the cash that I got for my trailer, which covered about half of it. So I just gave her that, and then we're just gonna write her a check for the rest, which I forgot today. So I'm not in a huge rush because she still like has a guy doing repairs on it. There was a leak in the roof over the living quarters, so the interior of it had been leaking for a while, and she hadn't used it, so she didn't realize. So there's like a musty, like the smell if you go to like a lake house. So if you rent a lake house and you like, and it's got a hot tub, I don't know why this smell sounds the same and why I remember this, but that's what it smells like. It smells like an old lake house hot tub, like when you open it for the first time, that musty smell. That's what it smells like. He checked, there's no mold or anything that we can see, but it could be underneath the floor because the floor needs to be ripped up and replaced because it's a little spongy. But I mean, I'm not in any huge rush. I have obviously no intentions of going to an out-of-state horse show and going in the living quarters. One, because I can't afford it, and two, I just, right now it's not, I mean, mentally, time-wise, it's just not gonna work out for me to go out like I had planned and travel all over the place to go horse show. So I'm excited to be able to do some like trailer living quarter, like DIY stuff, because we're gonna do it on our own. We're gonna rip up the floor and replace it, and do all that ourselves. So that'll be a fun project for us to do. But in the meantime, it's not, you know, once you turn it, like when it sits and it doesn't have the air conditioning on, you can smell it, but once you turn the air conditioning on and let it air out a little bit, it doesn't smell anymore. So anywho, if you do have any kind of like musty smell hacks, like short of like tearing out and replacing everything, if you have any hacks to get a musty, moldy, I would say it's not moldy, but like mildew smell out of something, let me know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to update other than the obvious. We're moving barns again. So I did not take this decision lightly. I very seriously contemplated it. I made a pros and cons list. I mulled over this for a few weeks because I do not want to leave this barn. I love Stacy. I love the barn. I love the arena, like the jumps. Like she has the most amazing jumps everywhere. Like it is amazing being there. If I can get out there. That's kind of what it comes down to, is since we're obviously, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me talk about this already. I didn't make any kind of like formal announcement or anything like that, just on my stories, but we are moving to St. Louis Equestrian Center in Pacific Wildwood area. So if you're from the area, it's off the Six Flags exit on 44. It's over there. I'm about to get on a bumpy road, so I'm gonna have to stop talking here. But anyway, yeah, since we're going back into the office, my drive from the office is over 2 hours. So it's already an hour without traffic from my house, which there is never no traffic other than literally this drive that I just did. And even still, there was some areas that got a little backed up, but it takes me an hour minimum to get from my house, which was fine because I was working from home. But I didn't realize every single time I drove out, there's always at least 15 minutes of traffic at a minimum to get there. Like, because it's backed up like between 64 and Highway 70 at the Winsfield Parkway exit. I mean, you're backed up in traffic for, God, 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes. So it's on the days that I go out with leaving from my house, it's an hour and 30 minutes. So that's 3 hours of commuting 5 days a week, just then and there. Now, add the fact that I'm phasing back into the office and at a minimum of 3 days a week, which makes me going out both days on the weekend no matter what, which kind of sucks because it's like I sometimes want a weekend day where I'm not working just to like be at home, like clean, do the things that you don't have time during the week to do. But I'm at the barn for a minimum of like 3 or 4 hours because I have the 3 horses, obviously. And it just, I don't know, it just sucks because I'm like, I don't have a life outside of horses, and that's why one of the main reasons why I left working at Lake St. Louis Stables full time, because I I didn't have a life. I couldn't do anything. I didn't have time. Like, I'm getting home on the days that I come out at 11 o'clock, and then I have to get up at 4 in the morning to make sure I'm leaving the house by 5:30 so I can get to where I need to park at 6. Otherwise, it's $15 a day to park in the parking garage. So to get free parking, I have to be there by 6. If I get there any later than 6:15, 6:20, then there's no parking spots. And that's another 15 minutes to walk into the office, a little bit longer, because then we have to go through the screening checkout. And I'm like, so to get into the office by 6:30, I have to leave my house by 5:30, which means I am getting up between 4 and 4:30. So like if I get home at 11 and I'm not getting in bed until 12, you can't have a sustainable life on 4 hours of sleep. I mean, some people might be able to, but I definitely cannot. So that was the main deciding factor, was the fact that I was either going to have to move the horses, or I wasn't going to be able to go out 5 days a week, which means they would not be competition fit unless I found somebody to ride them 2 other days a week, which is difficult because this is far out. Like, I mean, it's very far. And I live in St. Charles, so anybody, if they live in the West County area, you're looking at an hour and 20, hour and 45 minutes to get out there. So it's just, it was a very sad decision to make, but I did make it. And we are moving August 13th. Today is August 1st, so we're moving in 13 days. I mean, I did notify her. I gave her a 30-day notice, so, which she was like, you don't have to. I'm like, no, I'm going to give you a 30-day notice. I mean, unless you want me out sooner. So hopefully this time I'll actually be able to get some footage of me taking the horses and packing them up and leaving. But now I can move all the horses at once and not have to have 2 trips to get the horses because I have a 3-horse thriller. But yeah, that's all the updates. With the exception of the Zeke is that I've done so much blood work on him. He's fine. We just have to feed him more. He's getting all the hay he can eat to the point where he's leaving it. I mean, he's getting like 10 or more flakes a day. And so it's not that he's not getting enough hay or enough forage. And I've been feeding him 2 pounds of alfalfa and 2 pounds of beet pulp. So he's been getting that, along with the fact that he's on the senior feed. He's on this Purina Senior Active now, which helped. He's on a fat supplement. He's on the Horse Guard Trifecta, and he just wasn't gaining weight. So short of, oh my God, and it was like, short of doing this, which it just grosses me out, taking a horse like who's seemingly healthy, taking a horse's poo and flushing their system with it. That's what the vet recommended. So we did do a blood test on 10 to see if he had lepto, which can cause recurring uveitis symptoms. He does not, so that's good. And Ranita got her SI injected. I had him out to x-ray that bump on her knee, which he was like, it kind of looks like a little bit of a splint. Like, it looks like she just bonked it. But she was reactive to the point, like, on their neck where it shows like their fetlock. So we had her fetlock. We had her fetlock x-rayed, and then we had her knee x-rayed. He was like, it looks good. He's like, if I'm stretching, maybe a little bit of arthritis, but we think it was more so just, she was long. Like, she was like a week and a half, 2 weeks overdue, getting shod. So, and she's fine now, because she was actually off on that front left foot when the vet came out, and she hadn't been off before that. So I was like, you go, girl. You go, girl. You show what's wrong when he comes out. Like, most horses, like, they show all these symptoms, and the vet comes out, and then they're not lame. I'm like, thank God I have one horse that's smart. So, but I mean, we did the x-rays, and there was nothing wrong. So I don't know what else to do with that. But when he did a lameness exam, she was very sore on her right side, and she had very, very, very sore SI on the right, but not at all on the left. So it's really interesting because looking back on it, and I actually had a lameness exam done on her by a different vet from the same place, and we injected her hocks, which made a difference, but not like a significant difference. So I injected her right SI, and the difference is insane. Like she is, I mean, she's still like her, but just the difference of the fact that when I would free lunge her and run her around, she did not want to go on the left lead. She would not free lunge on the left lead. She would always go halfway, run down, stop, turn, and then try and go to the right. She's free lunging on her left lead now, and she never looked off at all. But it's crazy, I guess, how one simple thing can cause so much. But I did have her back x-rayed, just because I wanted a baseline, you know, and I had this feeling that there might be something going on because of how she acts when she's in the dressage saddle versus the jump saddle when we're flatting. And she has like very, very mild kissing spine, like very mild kissing spine between, I think, T13 and T14, which is kind of right where, like, behind her withers. And sometimes, like, the area right there, that area gets a little bit swollen sometimes, and if it does, then I give her the time off until it doesn't, and then I use a massage blanket and liniment, and give her a little bit of bute. But she was not, like, and even the vet was like, I don't think she has kissing spine before we did the x-rays. And I'm like, can you just do it just to, like, just for shits and giggles, please? So he was like, sure. I mean, you know your horse better than I do. So sometimes they present symptoms at the vet that they are under saddle that they don't at the vet. And so if you have a gut feeling about something and your vet's like, no, I don't think that's it, but you really, like, I mean, just get the x-ray. Like, they're not going to say no. I mean, that's more money for the vet. So, I mean, just get the x-ray and be like, I would really love to have it just for my own peace of mind. And if it's a good vet, they'll do it. So it turned out that she did have a little bit, but he's like, truthfully, I don't think that's what's bothering her. I think this right SI is probably a significant amount of discomfort for her, and she could be compensating for that in that area. So I was like, okay. He's like, I do think it would be beneficial just to shockwave it to see if you notice a difference. And I'm glad we didn't do it at the same time because, one, he didn't have the shockwave machine. We couldn't do it then, but I'm glad we didn't, so that way we could see what, like, the difference of the SI injection made versus, like, the back. So now when I take her back in and get her back shockwaved, just right in that one little area, then I can differentiate the two to see if there's, because I noticed the difference with the SI. So if I notice no difference with the shockwave on her back, then we'll try an injection. And if I don't notice a difference there, then obviously we know her back was not bothering her. So yeah, that's that. So now I've been talking for 22 minutes. We're almost to the barn. So it's a beautiful day outside. I'm super excited to ride outside. And yeah, let's get going. So I've got the jumping boots on, so she knows we're jumping. She's gonna be so excited. I switched her to a Waterford voucher, and I took the noseband off her bridle, and I really like the way she's going in it. She's not flipping her head up nearly as much, which I think is due to the fact that she can open her mouth. Not that that's like, it's a very faux pas thing when the horses have their mouth open, but we do jumpers, so really I don't care that much. She listens in it, and I think we ride the best in this setup, which is, at the end of the day, the best case scenario. So yeah, so I'm liking this setup. What do you think? She feels great after she had her SI injected. She's looking fantastic. You're looking a little chunky, but that's okay. You've had some time off, girl. But yeah, I'm going to go and set all these jumps to meter 10 and and we're gonna do a little course. Future Kelsey here. It's August 16th. I've had this footage for quite a while. So yeah, I wanted to hop on here and just kind of talk you guys through my ride. So Ranita has no chill. She likes to go. So she really doesn't walk at all. Whenever we're in the arena, like, she gets in and she's like, let's just start working. Let's do this. I'm tired of standing. Like, you know, she's just like, let's go. So she is stretching for the first time in a long time. And I am so happy that she's actually willing to stretch, and that this right here is the first time I have ridden her on the buckle ever. You can see she's starting to get fast, but she definitely, anytime I would do that, she would take off and start like cantering and get really, really fast. So it's crazy. Ashton, shh. Sorry, my cat. But yeah, so that was the first time I had ever ridden her on the buckle. So that was kind of cool. Obviously, you see that I took her noseband off. My cat has a lot to say today. He's been quiet this whole time, and then I get on here and start recording a voiceover. So, obviously, I'm just warming her up. She loves to get her face pet in the middle of a ride. Oh my god, she's so cute. I love her so much. So now that we've trotted, I'm going to start cantering. She looks so good. Sorry, just loving up on my horse here, watching the videos. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory for my rides. When I'm warming up, just warming up. And obviously this is a very condensed version. I typically try and walk for 5 to 10 minutes and try to get them stretching. And she is very crazy this day. This was the first time she had jumped in a while. And I can usually tell how crazy she's going to be with how exuberant her lead changes are. So that's kind of my trigger warning. So I had a feeling she was going to be a little nuts today. I always start off trotting jumps as much as I can trot, and then halt afterwards just to get her thinking, so she can't just barrel out after the fence and, do her Ranita things. So I sit back and halt, and then I try as best as I can to get her to trot all the way to the fence, but as you can see, that doesn't work. She is a goer, I get so much hate for how she goes. That was a nice jump. And then trying to get her to stop, and she's like, no. So you can see that moment where she sees the jump and she launches. It's really hard to find a distance sometimes on her because she changes her pace so much, and it's difficult. It's difficult. People you can hate on me all you want, but she's not an easy horse to ride, and I think I do a pretty good job. That was a nice little line, little bending line. And these are all set to, the oxers are set to meter 20, and the rest of them are set to meter 10, because this is the height that I was showing at. And I did measure every single jump for the people who are going to be like, those don't look that high. It's like, I literally measured them with a tape measure. I'm not an idiot. I know what I'm doing. Jumps look different from different heights. So you can really see here when she comes out of that turn how she just eats up the ground, and she finds her distance. And the best way I can describe what it's like to ride her is it feels like a roller coaster, like that moment before the roller coaster takes off and then it launches you forward. That's what it feels like on her. Working on a little roll back here. Oh, she's so pretty. Look at how cute she is. So, yeah. So, I have to do a lot of walk breaks with her in between. Sometimes I actually get off in the middle of the ride because she won't actually stay walking. But the majority of my ride, like going up to the fence, is just holding, sitting there, and she's running into me and flailing around and being upset about it. And I'm like, girl, we cannot like launch at every single fence. We're gonna die. But I knew there was gonna be some rollbacks in the Kirkwood show that's coming up this weekend, so I had wanted to practice a few of those. And yeah, I think she was really good this day, with the exception of the long go at an oxer, and she's so powerful, and it's hard sometimes to keep her at a consistent pace. But yeah, she likes to go clearly. But yeah, so that was my ride on her. You got your ice boots? What a pretty girl. She looks so good. She's tired now. She was a little crazy today. They're my favorite ice boots ever. The Lemieux ones. Oh, pretty girl. Are you so pretty? Look at her lip. Are you so beautiful? Yeah, you are, and you know it. You're beautiful. Are you a beautiful girl? Ten's turn. Here you go. Ranita was really good at the beginning of the ride. And then she just, I don't know if she started getting tired or if she just was like that excited to jump, which could have been a little bit of both, because when she gets tired, she starts getting sloppy and she starts getting extra chargy, because it takes more energy to keep yourself back instead of like running at things. So she was jumping stuff flat, and just in general kind of not like jumping very well. So yeah, so that was great. I'm going to put some of these fences down so I can take 10 over some of them, and because they're set between meter 10 and meter 20. Not that he can't do it, because he just jumped 4'1" or 4'3" last week, and he cleared it really nicely. But no, we're not rolling. I know the sand, like the footing today is beautiful. No, we're not rolling. So I'm gonna put we're not rolling. So the ones I put up to meter 20, I'm gonna put back down to meter 10. So this is my ride on 10. I didn't get really a warm up, but I actually did not change the height of any of the jumps other than he's like, woohoo, this is fun. Other than I made the oxer Swedish oxers. So that's the only thing that I changed. So he's jumping the same height that Ranita was. He's so good. He really loves to jump. I think this one's really funny where he knocks the pole and then gets pissed. And then he's like, this is stupid. I can't believe that pole. How dare it? And then he trips and gets dirt in his face. The audacity of that pole to touch his foot, man. He's so good. And then that one, he's like, I'm going to refuse it. And then he went over it. So, yeah, stuff happens, people. And then he was like, man. So we come through again. Actually, we did the bending line first because I didn't want to take him right back to it. And I wanted to build his confidence back up. Because sometimes if he gets a tricky distance or something like that happens, he can then be super backed off and not really want to jump it right away. So I try to take him over some other fences to get his confidence back up. And then we'll go back over it here in a second. And gosh, he's so good. I'm so proud of how far he's come. He's so much fun to jump. Look at how good he is. Look at how proud of himself he is. He loves to celebrate after fences. He's like, that was so much fun. I will say I am excited to be back with a trainer and have her on the ground regularly to correct me. And see, he kind of like looked at it and was like, I don't know. And then he jumped it so nice and he's like, this is so much fun. Woohoo, yay. God, he's so good. And that was his first time jumping that fence. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. I jumped him over that, I want to say the week or so before, and then we just never changed it. So his first time jumping that line. Oh, he's so good. So again, these are 1.10 m, and then this is 1.20 m. Oh, he's so good. Look at him. He just has so much fun. I hate correcting him when he has his celebrations, because he's just so proud of himself. It's just his personality. But he's so good. And then I sit, wait, and then he jumps that really nice, but then he knocked the pole down, and then he literally took off bucking, which of course the camera didn't catch. I thought it was so funny. So then here's me trying to lift the pole up, and then I'm like, well, that's not going to work. What's wrong with you? So then I came back around and was like, just put it up the right way. Quit being a dork, Kelsey. So then I put the pole back up. Oh, he's so cute. Look at his little butt. So then I came through again, and then he jumped this one. Really nice. Obviously, the camera did not catch it. It stopped right after that. I mean, it's nice having... I rode that terribly. Absolutely horrible. I let my shoulders round and... Ugh. I feel like I like let my equitation go on him. Why, I don't know. He's actually really uncomfortable to ride at the trot. His canter's pretty nice, but he's just a weirdly conformed horse, and he's not very comfortable to ride. My other horses are way more comfortable to ride, but he's really fun. He makes so light of everything. Like it's like it's not even hard for him, and these are pretty big fences. So I really think he's got upper level potential. He just, when it comes to new fences, he's just so not brave, and he has to see everything first. So like it's really tough. He got a lot more brave being over these fences here at Avalon. So I'm really hoping that he's kind of growing up and realizing like, hey, this is, there's nothing you need to be scared of. But we'll have to see. He's not going to go to a show for a while, unfortunately, but we can still have fun and train for it. Oh, look at him. He's so handsome. He's so handsome. My little bean. He's so proud of himself. So I think this was the last little... Yep, he started to get tired, so... But he jumped that one really nice and pretty, and I ended on that. So Tane was amazing. He was so good. He was having so much fun jumping. I did not put any of the jumps down, actually. The only thing I did with one of them was make it a Swedish oxer. And so I had 2 Swedish oxers today. So that's all I did there. What are you doing? And I left everything up, and he jumped everything beautifully. So freaking annoyed with my pivot because it kept losing me. So I'm going down to the warm-up arena that is used for the most part shows, but it doesn't have any jumps set up in it. I didn't feel like moving all the jumps in the indoor. So we're taking a little casual walkie walk down to the end of the arena. And let's hope he doesn't have a mental breakdown because he's been so spooky lately, but well, gotta work with what you got, huh, kiddo? Yeah. So I'm just walking down there. I've got my Mac Rider on him. He was really good yesterday. I took him over a few cross rails. I just didn't feel like jumping any more horses today. I could have jumped him. I mean, I took him over a few fences yesterday. I really didn't do much. And he was fantastic. So I kind of want to leave that in his brain for the next time we jump. But it's starting to get a little hot. And I just, didn't feel like, just didn't feel like it. And so I'm going to set up this Pivo down here. He's already looking for crap. And he's already looking for stuff to spook at. This is going to be fantastic. So, I'm going to put this down here and then get on. Alright, so then we've got Zeke. By this point I was so freaking tired, oh my god. It was so hot, look at how sweaty I am. It's so gross. I really need to start feeling better and start working out. Like, the medication I'm on is making me gain weight, and I'm not working out, and it's just, it's tough. Trying to find a diet that works. That's for a whole nother story. But for Zeke, I have a pretty long walk warm-up routine. I let him walk and stretch just to loosen his back up, and then I pick him up, and then I do halt, walk, halt, walk, halt, walk, and then I will do at the walk shoulder in, haunches in. I will do some half passes, leg yields, all of this at the walk just to warm him up because he comes out pretty stiff. And I find that loosens him up a lot more than if I just kind of go in and start trotting and try and work through some of this stuff at the trot. So I do it all at the walk first and really just make sure he's on the aids and listening and he's not pulling against me, which this day he was actually pretty strong. And he kept getting on the forehand and kept leaning on my hands. And it was just pretty tough, it was pretty tough. But once I'm done walking, I will do that for about 10 to 15 minutes, give him a really nice long walking warm-up. I will go into the trot. I don't particularly pick him up or do a whole lot in an up frame, like a lifted frame. I more so just kind of keep him on, like with the contact, because he likes to spook, so I don't want to automatically put him out on a really long rein and go right into a long stretch if he's being spooky, because he will take off if he sees something that scares him. So I kind of just do some leg yields on a light contact, just trying to get him listening to my legs, get him moving, get that inside hind leg moving. And then I will bring him down into a stretch and start stretching him, getting him his back stretched out at the trot. So I believe here, or this next is when I start, but I try to do lots of circles, lots of movements, just leg yielding back and forth, just trying to get him listening and get him to the point where he's loose enough to where I can pick him up and put him down and bend and just get him supple. So that's really what the warm-up is, and it takes a long time to get him supple. So I don't automatically pick him up, but just trying to get him forward, quick off the leg, and then I'll start giving him the rein. And once he starts taking that stretch down, I know he's with me. So You can see he's kind of taking it down, not as much as I would like, because he's still like looking at things. So he's like half focused on me, half focused on everything else. And I feel like that's how most of our rides go, which kind of sucks, but whatever. He's just a spooky guy in general. So still trying to just get him to stretch, but keeping him forward and not on the forehand in the stretch. So I find a lot of people think their horse is stretching, but really the horse is just on the forehand, and the stretch has to still feel like all the power is coming from behind, and you should be able to have a light contact and it still feel, the stretch should feel the same in the contact as when they're up. So if you feel like your horse is really heavy on the reins and you keep giving them the reins, and if you pick them up, if they feel like cinder blocks, that's not an actual stretch. That's just them on the forehand pulling with their front end. So be careful to make sure that your stretch is actually a stretch and they're still pushing off with their hind end and not pulling with their front end. So now I will do trot to halt, and then start doing some movements just to make sure that he is listening. And again, I'm not worrying about what's going on with his head. I'm just trying to get his body supple. I don't want him pulling against me, but I'm not putting him in that third, fourth level frame. So just making sure that he's up and he's listening and he's with me. Again, that's, I mean, really dressage riders, I mean, we do tons and tons and tons of transitions, change of directions, circles, constantly trying to put the horse in a situation where you're making them use themselves. That's really what it comes down to. So then I will pick them up a little bit, go into the sitting and start doing 10-meter circles to shoulder in. If you have a good 10-meter circle, you'll have a good shoulder in, because basically it's the same aids, but you're just keeping them straight down the long side instead of on a circle. So I typically always do a 10-meter circle to a shoulder in. Sometimes the circle's a little bit larger, but for the most part, I try to come off of a 10-meter circle into a shoulder in. And then working on a little bit of half pass. Half pass for him is harder going to the left than the right. Anything really going to the left where he has to push off with that right hind is a little bit harder for him, but he's definitely getting stronger. So after all of that, then I'll go into the canter and kind of just let him have his head a little bit, and then I'll pick him back up and make sure he's not pulling me down. So what I will do is I will kind of flex him, counter flex him a little bit, and then flex him to the inside, and then try to counter flex him just to get that neck softened, because he tends to brace the underside of his neck and pull with his front end versus using his hind end. And his right lead is a lot easier than his left. So I typically start on the right just to kind of get get it going and get it, feeling nice. And then I will either do a simple change, or I will do a halt transition and then walk and then pick up the left lead. So it's all with him about trying to not argue with him, because if you get into an argument, he gets a little bit nervous, he gets a little bit, I don't want to say angry, but very stubborn. So it's all tricky on trying to show him that the way we want is the easier and better way than trying to put all his weight on the forehand and hang on my hands. Which he does. So, and his head and neck weighs so much. So you can see me kind of flex him a little bit outside and then straighten, and then a little bit to the inside. It's not seesawing. Seesawing is moving your hands back and forth quickly. This is gaining control of every part of his body. So especially to the left, I have to do that to kind of break loose that right side of his body. So you'll flex right, flex left, and straighten in between. So that's a good trick, but you don't want it to be quick. You want it to be flex right and then a stride, straighten, and then flex left and then a stride, straighten. So it's more so just trying to loosen up their body. So I'm practicing the second one test because in October I'm hoping to take him to the show, the Autumn at the Arch at the NEC. I'm hoping to take him to that and try and get the rest of my scores. So I've been riding him in the snaffle for the majority of our rides, and I'm hoping I can get him in the snaffle for my 2 second level test and hopefully my 3rd level one. So we'll just kind of see how he goes. He can get really, really, really strong in a show setting. So a lot of times, any of the times I've ridden him at a show, I've had to use the double because he just pulls and pulls. So it kind of helps back him off a little bit and give him a barrier versus putting all of his weight into my hands, but he still does in the double. It's just, he's not an easy horse to ride. He's smooth, but he's definitely not easy. So yeah. So anyway, now we come across to the counter canter. And so he definitely wanted to try and do the change there because we have been working on changes, but it's really good to still not do that every single time so they're not expecting to change. And there, he tried to throw all of his weight into my hands, and I kind of sat back against him and gave him a strong half halt to bring him back up. And he came back pretty nicely. So sometimes you do have to have those strong half halts because they get to the point where they get really, really heavy, and it tears up the nerves in your shoulder. And I mean, I have trigger finger in both my index and middle, or my ring finger. Is it my ring finger? My middle finger and my ring finger, yeah, from just the year of dressage training that I was doing. So yeah, so that was the second level test that I did. So then I actually went just right into from there. You can see he was trying to hang on me and I wasn't gonna let him. So now I'm practicing that third one test. So we've got our shoulder in to a half circle to a half pass. And this is his harder half pass, but this one actually was really, really nice, and I was really happy with that. So then we come around to a shoulder in this direction, and same thing. So shoulder in here was pretty good. And then a half circle, and then into the half pass. He is so much better than even when we went to that schooling show. Like, he has gotten so much stronger. I think jumping has helped him tremendously. He has been getting regular chiropractic and fascial release, and he's doing so well. So these are our walk pirouettes now. So he sticks on that hind right there, you can see. So it was a little sticky. And then I think this one was much better. Yep, that one was a lot better. And I like the activity in his walk here. I find, too, that I get a little nervous if he's, like, super powerful and forward, which I'm working on as a dressage rider. That's something that you have to be able to be comfortable with. And yeah, so he's doing really well. I mean, there's a lot that we still have to work on. But it's a work in progress. I mean, he still likes to pull and he likes to be really, really strong. And it's just something that, you know, it's fixed with time. It doesn't fix itself overnight, and it's something that you have to work at. So this is his left lead, which is a little bit trickier, and I tried to get a little bit of the extended canter, but I didn't do much because he was just very heavy this day, and I didn't want to get into an argument with him after it. So I went to the pace that I thought he would be easy to come back from. It's hard for him to come back quickly after these extended movements. He's kind of like a big locomotive where it takes a minute for him to come back. And then I was actually very happy with this change because he was only late behind 1, so it wasn't clean, but I felt like he stayed the same pace, and I was very happy with that. And then, so the third 1 test, this is the last movement before you come down the center line. So you've got your extended trot. Again, I didn't extend with him too much. I was so tired at this point too that I was just like, oh my God. But this was the first time we had ran through the tests in a while. So I was very, very, very happy with how he did. So that was my ride on Zeke. Oh my goodness. What, are you hungry or something? Are you hungry or something? So come. And there's Zeke with his foot. Always does that. Yummy. She rolled. Did you at least get both sides? Yep. You did. Oh, Raina. Hi, buddy. Oh, is that so good? Is that so yummy? Huh? Is that so yummy?